Although there's been job growth here, there's also been job loss. We can't.
Good morning, just after 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. She's back today, Miss Erin, and she has local news up next.
The two candidates for mayor squared off last night. We'll take a closer look. Some nasty weather is headed our way. We'll have a look at that. And Shreveport's substitute police chief outlines his plan for fighting crime.
Yes, I need you to tell me about what I missed because, well, I had other things to do.
I'm going to explode again today. I'm just telling you.
Are you mad at the referees again?
No, that's not it. I'm mad about something else today.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you watch?
Crunch some numbers.
Did you watch the football game last night?
Yeah.
What did you think? Trust me, everybody lays an egg a couple times a season. If you're a Saints fan, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Fletcher and sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The two candidates for mayor squared off on NBC6 last night. No real fireworks, but Mayor Ollie Tyler did say many of our problems can be traced to negativity.
I think that we have to develop first selling Shreveport to Shreveporters. Particularly during the political season, when people continue to beat up on their own city, instead of finding ways to help us solve issues, then we ourselves create some of that. And I must tell you that over the past 4 years, I've noticed that we have so many great assets in Shreveport, but Shreveporters don't believe in Shreveport.
Adrian Perkins says we must also do better to help local business.
The business community are very disenchanted with our MPC, and they feel like there is no point of contact and nobody really facilitating their business growth at City Hall. So the way that we get after that is creating those relationships, listening to them, putting an advisory board together that's tied into that economic development department that I was talking about so that we can regularly feel what our employers are feeling in our community.
The election is December 8th. Nasty weather headed our way tomorrow, it looks like. National Weather Service Shreveport meteorologist Brandy Richardson says an upper-level trough is likely to push rain into the area during the daylight hours.
During the day, probably not severe, just your garden variety stuff. But as that trough gets a little bit closer in the evening hours Friday, that's when we could see our severe weather threat ramping up, especially for areas along I-20 and north of there.
Richardson says the weather pattern will also bring a cold front to the area. 5 high-ranking Explo Systems officials sentenced to years in jail and to pay millions in restitution for their part in the Camp Minden explosion. Explo co-owner David Smith sentenced to 55 months in prison and ordered to pay $34 million in restitution. Vice President William Wright sentenced to 41 months in order to pay $149,000. The other men sentenced got no less than 24 months in prison and were also ordered to pay thousands in restitution. A shooting leaves 3 wounded, including a small child. Matt Parker with that.
Shreveport police are investigating a shooting that took place on Liba Street Thursday evening. According to investigators, a 5-year-old boy and his parents were shot during the incident. One on-scene officer said that the shooting appeared to be a targeted attack. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Substitute Shreveport Police Chief Ben Raymond outlining his plan for fighting crime. He says the priority is to be more proactive. He also says overall crime numbers are indeed down.
The men and women of the Shreveport Police Department have done an outstanding job in working to reduce crime and the fear of crime. This year we are on pace to experience historic lows in categories of total robberies as well as residential burglaries.
Raymond says he's also adamant about addressing juvenile crime. President Donald Trump's approval rating up to a clear majority of voters in Louisiana, according to a new poll from Bernie Pincinat.
The Kavanaugh hearings and whatever else you can think of that went their way, the tax cuts, all of those things have materialized into Trump reaching 55% popular.
Trump sports a 70% approval rating in total from white voters in Louisiana. First, she was accused of passing gas. Now a woman is accused of threatening to cut the man who accused her of doing just that. Police in Florida say the woman, 37-year-old Shanetta Yvette Wilson, passed gas while waiting in line at a Dollar General store. A nearby customer got upset, accusing her of doing it so loudly. Started an argument. That's when she went into her purse, pulled out a knife, telling him she was going to gut him. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Ten past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Friday morning traffic. Starting us off, Ruben's here.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near McDade Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 12 after 6 o'clock. That KEEL app is a free download from Office Furniture Source. As I start to talk more to set up this segment, I'm slowing down because I figure the slower I talk, the more difficult it will become for you to keep from us what you really want to talk about at 7 o'clock.
I have a doozy. I actually was home yesterday, but I did a little research while I was at home on a couple of things.
Right.
And I think you might fall out of your chair.
Really?
I think you might.
Good thing it has arms.
And I think I might explode today. I think there might be Erin matter on the windows.
Seriously, what's this about?
It's about government spending.
When you say government, you mean federal or state?
No, city government.
Or local?
Local government spending.
Mm-hmm. You mean in Shreveport or Bossier City or?
Well, Shreveport for the most part.
Compared to other cities?
I'm not going to say anything.
I have to wait an hour?
You have to wait an hour because I need to gird. My loins need girding today.
Do they ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, build a wall.
And
there's a promo.
I'm flummoxed. I do want to thank our co-workers who came in their Cowboys jerseys this morning, by the way. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Did you watch the game? What did you think?
Yeah. Well, I watched bits and pieces of it. I did the highlight button.
What was the last thing? Parky, grab thine microphone. What was the last thing I said when we left the studio? I mean, on the radio, the very last thing I said yesterday.
I don't remember, but I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
It was basically, everybody was arguing. Everybody else was arguing about who was going to win last night. Saints, Cowboys. And I said, look, the Cowboys could easily win. What? I said, every NFL team, no matter how good, lays an egg a couple of times a year.
Yes.
Every NFL team, you're an excellent NFL team if you lose 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
You win your division if you lose 5. You're still a great team. The Saints have lost 2.
Right.
Everybody lays an egg. Everybody gets beat, do I think? And I'm listening to both Fox Sports and ESPN this morning. And they're saying how, did they expose the Saints? Is this the turning point for the Cowboys? See, I don't know.
Yeah.
They play 16 games. The Cowboys are 7-5. The Saints are what? 10-2.
10-2. And when you hold Drew Brees to 127 yards passing, you're going to win the game.
Do you think that would have happened if they'd been in New Orleans?
Probably not.
There you go.
Probably not.
Home field advantage in the NFL is a big deal.
The problem
I do wish I'd taken the Cowboys and the points for about $1,000.
What was the spread?
It was Cowboys were +7 or +7.5.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. The problem is these two don't normally play each other.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of us who like this rivalry,
it's bragging rights.
It is for a long time. It's bragging. I remember a person that I used to work with here, who was Cowboys. I mean, I think this woman's blood was blue.
More than one? Well, never mind.
She shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
But we were ragging her and ragging.
There's a guy next door who's got a Cowboys star tattooed on his arm.
And he came in here with his jersey. But this person, after the Saints beat the Cowboys one particular year, I don't remember when, came in and body slammed the bathroom door in the girls' bathroom and broke it off its hinge.
A big girl.
No.
What?
No, a tiny girl.
So we're talking about...
I think she kicked it.
Momentum here.
She was so mad.
Yeah.
She kicked the door to the women's bathroom and broke it off the hinges.
Do I know this woman?
You do, but I'm not saying her name on the radio.
Rats.
I'm not saying her name on the radio. Sorry.
Say the name.
No, I'm not doing it.
Say the name. Say the name.
So did you watch the game last night, Parky? Was the officiating as awful in the fourth quarter as everybody says?
I only watched the first half, and what I saw in the first half wasn't good. They missed.
I watched it. It looked like a big old head hit there at the end.
Did they get the crew from the LSU A&M game?
That's what a lot of people are joking. It's I don't know. They made a lot of bad. They missed a face mask call on Dak.
Mm-hmm.
There was a head hit on Kamara that was
questionable.
They're on the sideline. Oh, the guy led with his head.
Oh.
But it's football. Somebody leads with their head on every play.
Yeah.
And not to defend referees while everybody's all upset, but you have to remember, we have the benefit of slow motion and instant replay. with different angles. The referee has one angle while these guys are running full speed. It's easy to make a mistake and miss something.
Cowboys fans, don't get too puffed up. Saints fans, don't be too depressed.
Congratulations, Cowboys. And I'll be honest with you, I like both teams.
It does.
But when they play each other,
yeah,
I'm a Saints fan.
It does give the Cowboys a leg up, if you will, in the NFC East.
Oh, yeah.
The Saints still sitting pretty good in the NFC South. The mayoral, not a forum, not a debate.
They actually called it a debate on the air last night.
Actually, what they said was it was a conversation.
During the piece last night, they called it a debate, but it wasn't a debate. It wasn't a debate. It was a conversation. It was a conversation.
So basically,
it was just Q&A. Really,
give me we got to go to break, and then we can talk about it.
No real sparks flew. It was pretty mild mannered.
Why do you expect that? Why is that what you look for?
Well,
why do you look for yelling?
I look for yelling. I
look for content, everything. Look, I'm not trying to bust on you here, but when we were setting up the mayoral forum, when you were putting all that together, you literally said, if we get them all in here, they may go at each other a little bit. I don't care if people go at each other. I want to know what they think and what their ideas are.
Yeah.
I don't want them to yell at each other and point and swing at each other.
Well, you heard Scott Hughes tell us earlier this week that Mayor Tyler has to swing for the fences. And, maybe swinging for the fences is taking a shot, a direct hit. Did you do that last
night?
I didn't. I saw some base hits.
Was it you or was it someone else who said that Ollie's, and I air quotes, dismissal, I don't want to say removal, but just the shift. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask you, and I'll give you a minute to think about it.
Okay.
And you can answer when we get back, and I brought this up yesterday with everybody, both on and off the radio, in fact, on and off the radio for the last 2 days.
Okay.
And I want you to think about it. Don't answer till we get back.
All right.
Okay? If in the general election, what was it now, a month ago, right? Almost a month.
Mm-hmm.
If the results of the general election had been reversed, if Ollie had 30 and Adrian had 25, if Ollie had 30 and Talaferro had 22, whatever it happened to be, if Ollie were first instead of second, would Alan Crump still be police chief?
Ooh.
Think about that.
Ooh.
And does that matter? And if it does, why? 19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Ruben's here.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Shreveport-Barksdale Highway near Knight Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Welling at the Weather Channel.
Twenty past 6 o'clock, time for Keel Sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Dallas put the brakes on the Saints' runaway train offense in a 13-10 upset Thursday night in Arlington. The Cowboys' fourth win in a row occurred despite turning the ball over 2 times and being held scoreless in the second half. Dallas's defense kept Drew Brees in check, limiting the Saints quarterback to a measly 127 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Jordan Lewis's interception of a poorly thrown pass from Brees with just over 2 minutes to play sealed the win. Houghton alum Dak Prescott played lights out in the first half, completing 88% of his passes for 194 yards and a touchdown. In the second half, Prescott cooled off, throwing for just 60 yards, plus he fumbled the ball away with 2:32 to play inside the Saints' 15-yard line when the Cowboys were going for the final nail in the coffin. But the Cowboys' defense bailed out their quarterback with Lewis's interception 2 plays later. There were several questionable calls as well as penalties that should have been whistled but weren't. That was the bad news for both teams. The good news is they each have something to complain about in a poorly officiated game. Dallas improves to 7-5 while New Orleans drops to 10-2. High school football around the area. Manny hosts Welsh in a 2A semifinal game tonight, while Haynesville welcomes Kentwood to Claiborne Parish for a 1A semifinal this evening. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 24 past 6 o'clock at 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Okay, so there's my question. If the results... See, I was disappointed you weren't here yesterday because yours was the take I wanted to get first.
Yeah.
If the results of the general election had been reversed and Ollie had gotten 30 and Adrian 25 or whoever came in second, doesn't much matter. But if Ollie had won, for lack of a better term, without getting 50%, if Miss Ollie had come in first in November's general election, would Alan Crum still be police chief?
Ooh, I suspect yes. I suspect maybe so.
So it was a political move, totally political. When she sat in here and said, "I realize," whatever she said, and I'm not going to put words in her mouth. I don't remember the exact quotes. So what you're telling me is her removal of Chief Crump.
She didn't remove him. She did not do that.
His replacement.
Right.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I think happened.
His replacement was a political move. Is that? Would you? How much do you have to speculate to make that call?
I'm going to tell you what I think happened. I think he had a conversation with some folks in city government who are politically connected, and they tied him to why she performed so poorly. And he started contemplating, was I the reason that she performed so poorly?
So you think he removed himself out of guilt?
So I need to probably move along. I'm hurting her. I need to move along to give her a better chance of winning on December 8th.
So you think he's that big a guy? You think he's that loyal to the mayor?
That's what happened.
You think I'm stepping aside?
No, not loyal.
I'm an albatross. I'm dragging Ollie down.
I think it has a lot to do with that.
I am the reason she lost, and I will throw myself on the sword. I will go full bore harakiri for my mayor. That's what you're telling me.
I think that had a lot to do with it. I really do. Now, how he did it didn't show a whole lot of loyalty because he first told her he was going to retire. Then he told her he's going on sick leave. But that may have been just the timing of when he went to the doctor. I don't know.
Matt has his head. Matt's his head is in his hands.
I know.
This is just the most. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard you say on the radio, and you've said some crazy stuff.
Yeah, always.
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
So explain why.
all of a sudden he's going to be a big guy and get out of the way for Ollie because he's a team player, so she can have a chance to win.
Madam Mayor, I woke up this morning. I saw the results from the election. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I am the reason that you only got 25% of the vote, and I am stepping aside for the good of your administration and the city of Shreveport the day after the election.
And please bury me the day after it all goes down and make me look like a fool so I can't have the respect of the people I work with. Please ruin my reputation.
By the way, keep paying me through March. Full chief salary.
What did she say when she came in here? Did she say that he removed himself?
Yeah, he decided to retire. Then he decided to go on medical leave after going to his doctor for some sort of ailment.
She also mentioned that, hey, we had some conversations about him moving on.
Yeah, she did. She did. And she did tell us, though last night she hedged a little in the forum. She said, because she told us she lost faith in him.
So you're thinking.
And last night during the forum, she said the public lost faith in him. Nah, you said on our show you lost faith in him. Point blank. But last night she kind of wiggled through that because they said, you said you've lost faith in the police chief. She said, well, the public's lost faith in him.
At this point, and I asked this yesterday also, at this point, is Ollie is she running against herself? In other words, is she saying, re-elect me and I'll fix all that City Hall stuff? Wait a second. Have you been there for 4 years? Re-elect me. I'll take care of the problems. I don't know who caused them. I'll fix it.
She hit home hard last night on the lawsuits against the city. She said, we won all those lawsuits. It doesn't get reported, but we won them all. Those water lawsuits, we won them all, but we don't hear you talk about that.
So of all the problems that Miss Ollie may have had in her first term, of all the problems in whatever departments there happen to be, the only one who took it upon himself to take blame, nobody in water department, nobody in any of the other departments where there is difficulties, the only one man enough to step up and say, I'm not going to hurt my mayor anymore, in your opinion, is Alan Crump.
I think that played a part. I really do.
29 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near McDade Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Duettig at the Weather Channel.
KEEL News now.
Strong storms headed in our direction. National Weather Service Shreveport meteorologist Brandy Richardson says the weather pattern will also bring a cold front to the region.
There will be a very weak cold front. It's not going to bring us any real cold air or anything like that, but there is something there that will help to force those thunderstorms.
Richardson says the hardest hit areas will likely be north of I-20. The two candidates for mayor squared off on NBC6 last night. No real sparks flying, but Mayor Tyler did say we have made strides on bringing in jobs.
We brought several thousand jobs to Shreveport. Even though, we've lost some like most cities do. I think our wins are bigger than our losses.
Adrian Perkins says we can and must do better.
We are missing opportunities by not marketing things properly and really tying into the people of Shreveport.
The election is December 8th. Talking crime, the substitute chief Ben Raymond had a news conference saying he wants to change our strategy just a bit.
Proactive policing means preventing crimes before they occur. It means talking to the suspicious people, stopping suspicious vehicles, being alert to opportunities for when crimes have occurred or about to occur or are occurring, and stop them at that point.
Meantime, Shreveport police investigating a shooting that happened on Liba Street last night. According to investigators, a 5-year-old boy and his parents were shot during the incident. One on-scene officer said the shooting appeared to be a targeted attack. Former Explo Systems officials get jail time. Matt Parker with that.
5 high-ranking Explo Systems officials were sentenced to years in jail and to pay millions of dollars in restitution for their part in the Camp Minden explosion 6 years ago. Explo co-owner David Smith was sentenced to 55 months in prison and ordered to pay $34 million in restitution. Vice President William Wright was sentenced to 41 months and ordered to pay $149,000. The other men sentenced got no less than 24 months in prison and were also ordered to pay thousands of dollars in restitution for their crimes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
President Trump kicking off 2 days of diplomacy at the Group of 20 Nations meeting in Argentina. That's after his abrupt decision to cancel a meeting with the Russian president. Officials say a teenager managed to deposit himself into the vault of an abandoned bank in Hollywood, Florida, and it took several hours to get him out. News outlets report firefighters had to struggle to get the teen freed. First, they tried to drill through a wall, but that didn't go well. But a worker at the bank's new branch across the street heard about the problem. That worker remembered the code and was able to open the vault's massive door. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Still no hint what you're going to talk about at 7 o'clock.
No, but it really is a doozy.
Really?
It really, I did a little work on it yesterday, and Matt did a little work on it for me today, and it's shocking.
101.7 FM, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. So Jim Taliaferro, former Republican candidate for mayor, had a big endorsement thing. Well, no, he didn't endorse anybody. So he called. Was there a press conference? Did he do a press release? Exactly how did that happen?
He sent out a release. I'm not sure what if he actually held a news conference or not. He sent out a release outlining why he loves Shreveport. He urged his voters to look at both candidates and make the choice they thought was best, something to that effect.
So he just sort of passed on the opportunity to endorse one or the other.
Right, did not do either one.
Yeah.
And he's getting he's taking hits for that, while Savage is taking hits for doing picking one. I don't know.
Is he taking hits for not endorsing anyone, or is he taking hits for announcing he's not endorsing anyone?
He's taking hits for not endorsing anyone. I think his people that follow him.
I mean, nobody was beating him up before yesterday, right?
No, but they are
when he
now.
hadn't endorsed anybody,
right?
And he still hadn't endorsed anybody. So
So I don't know. There were a couple of other endorsements yesterday. Mayor Tyler picked up the endorsement of the Shreveport firefighters. while Adrian Perkins picked up the support from the Fraternal Order of Police. So he's got kind of the police folks in his back pocket. She's now got the firefighters in her back pocket.
It's the term you want to
Well,
use,
you
but
got a point.
But
yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So
yeah, because in the original police union vote, Perkins had 80%, undecided had 13, and Miss Ollie had 7.
Yeah, she needs to do a better job. If she were to be elected again, she needs to do a better job in managing the police department and being seen and.
So what's Chief Raymond's plan? I was doing a million other things yesterday.
That's a darn good question. Proactive policing is, I guess, the best thing I got from that. Matt, is that about accurate?
Was it? Yeah. What was it? Was it?
That you want to talk politically motivated? That was politically motivated.
Tell me why you think that.
That to do
you
that.
You mean the timing?
Oh, of course. To do that on the afternoon, going into the only debate they're going to have. Come on. I thought a much higher of Ben than that. He should have said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that the day you're going. I'll outline it later. Not the day you're going into this. So you can, that was real smelly to me. Real smelly.
I didn't think that until I started listening to him, where he started kind of trumpeting Ollie's point of view of, things are great here. We're doing a wonderful job, and we're going to continue to do a wonderful job.
And crime is down, and he spouted some of the numbers. I was real disappointed in him.
You were disappointed because he was because you felt it was a political speech?
Because I felt he was used, and I think he fell for it. I think maybe he fell for it and he shouldn't have.
Maybe he wants to keep his job.
Well,
maybe he likes being police chief. Maybe he knows he'll be police chief down the line.
That could be. And I don't know him well. Maybe
he's as much of a team player as Alan Crump, who in your mind was willing to resign. He was so much of a team player.
But when I say I don't know him well, I hear such great things about him. Everybody that I know that's close to him thinks he's a great guy. And I would have expected that he wouldn't let himself be used like that. Wait. Let me finish my point. Or show me a real plan. Show me we're gonna take 30 people off these desks and we're gonna put them in the neighborhood. We're gonna put guys on bikes. We're gonna be riding in Queensboro and Allendale, and we're gonna put horseback. We're gonna, show me a plan. And perhaps I missed it. I didn't see the whole news conference, but I don't see any proactive policing. How many times have we heard that? How many times have we heard we're going to be proactive police? Come on.
He did get into
at least kiss me after you buy me dinner. You know what I mean?
He did get into a little bit of detail about what he means by proactive policing. If somebody's suspicious, we're going to talk to them. If we're going to do our best to prevent crimes from happening before they happen. That sort of thing.
In your mind, it was not as hard-hitting as you had anticipated? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I mean, show me a plan. Show me something.
Your phone just went off. Anything worth reading?
No.
You can take a look during the commercial break. 6:39, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Erin will tell you what she really thinks in the next segment. Yeesh. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Shreveport-Barksdale Highway near Knight Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty.
And I have a doozy for you after 7 o'clock.
You keep saying that.
Robert, I'm just telling you. I don't tell you this very often, but when I read to you what I've been working on, you're going to go, wow. You're going to go. You might even go, wow,
what
wow.
I am taking from what the hints you've dropped, both off and on the air, you're going to tell me that big government is incredibly inefficient and wastes money. Why would that surprise me?
No, it's not. That part's not going to surprise you. That part's not going to surprise you. But what is going to surprise you is the impact here locally. And I don't want to get into any more detail on that. By the way, I have set up yesterday another thing I did. I'm excited about this.
That's what I was going to talk about in this segment.
I'm so excited about this.
Give me details about this. This is coming up on Monday.
Monday morning.
We've
never done this before because we haven't been on KEEL, but what are we coming into 4 years,
It'll
right?
Be 5 years in March.
It'd be 5 years. Okay. We have 3 outgoing city council members, Oliver Jenkins, Jeff Everson, and Michael Corbin.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like all 3 gentlemen have agreed to come in, sit down, and talk about the future of our city. They're outgoing. They're leaving the council. They've served for 8 years. So they served 4 years under Glover, 4 years under Tyler. And I want to hear from them. And I want to thank them for their service. Because, you give up 8 years of your life, you're on call 24/7. People call you and bitch at you anytime they feel like it. You got crazy news women on the radio that text you at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Any day she feels like it.
No kidding.
And doesn't bother, doesn't worry about harming your feelings or anything.
Patience of a saint.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to have them in studio.
What are you going to ask? What do you want to ask? What if the 3 of those gentlemen are here? Everson, Corbin, Jenkins. What are you going to ask them?
Has the ship hit an iceberg? And if it has...
Okay, let me play devil's advocate because I know all 3 and am fond of all 3 and consider myself to be friends with 2 of those gentlemen. So 3 guys who have basically been at the helm for the last 8 years are going to tell us what's wrong.
They might. Has the ship hit an iceberg? If it has, how do you keep it from sinking? What should the next leaders do?
I know this sounds horrible, and I don't mean to. I'm not trying to bust on them.
I think they'll be candid.
So 3.
If the 3 of them sit here and tell us everything is great in Shreveport, they'll all 3 be lying to us.
Okay.
And they're not going to sit in here and lie to us. They have no electorate to pander to. They're not going to sit in here and tell us Shreveport's great.
What's the problem? Why is there a problem? And what happened during your terms on the city council?
What were you doing to try to fix it?
That prevented you from getting the things done that you wanted.
And how can things be done differently in the future? That's what I think they bring to the table. How do we do things differently than how we're doing it now? Because it ain't working.
Let's repeat what you just said, the last sentence.
How can we do things differently?
The last sentence.
Because it ain't working.
Okay. If you have 3 competent, intelligent, well-meaning, hardworking citizens who gave 8 years of their lives, and I'm not speaking tongue, I am being completely sincere.
And their wives and their families, they made lots of sacrifices.
And after 8 years, they're going to sit here and say, because it ain't working. What do you think they're going to say?
I don't know. I would love to hear it. That's why I'm having them here.
It's on me. It's on him. It's on the 3 of us.
No.
Then who are they going to point a finger at? Because eventually the ball stops somewhere.
Well, they're going to talk about the economy a little bit, I'm sure. They're going to talk about the administration some, I would imagine. They're going to talk about, probably communication has been an issue.
Is this, let me take the hardcore on you this time. Is this maybe something that should have happened after the election?
What do you mean? We are after the election.
Are you going after the runoff?
Oh.
After a mayor is selected. Are you bringing in 3 city councilmen, and they're going to tell us how bad things are? Well, are they going to blame themselves, or are they going to blame somebody else? They're going to blame the mayor. How do you work around that? At some point, you're going to say, well, what happened? Is this really...
Is the city so broken? Is the city as broken as everybody says?
And if they say yes, What do you say?
What can we do? I'm not looking back to blame. I really don't care at this point.
But
I don't care who. Is it Cedric Glover's fault? Is it Ollie Tyler's fault? Is it the council's fault?
I'm not.
I want to move forward. I want to fix the problems.
Then maybe
I want Matt to stay in Shreveport. I want my son to stay in Shreveport. That's what I want to talk to him about. Make it a city that these folks want to stay in.
If we do something like this, 5 or 6 days, well, what'll be like 6 days before a mayoral election, doesn't the timing to you sound a little...
No, I don't care. I don't care. I want them to have a voice. I want them... these 3 men have worked hard. And I would have included Stephanie Lynch, but she wasn't. She's not term limited. She lost. But she's not coming back to the council. But she didn't serve 8 years. She wasn't term... So I said, I'm only going to focus on the ones who are term limited out. They cannot serve again, but they've served 8 years. So they know where we were 8 years ago, 4 years ago, where we are today. Have we gotten worse? Is it getting better? What's getting better? What's getting worse? What can we do to change the tide, to turn the ship around the Titanic, around the iceberg?
By your description, you think things are screwed up.
Of course, Robert.
So
I think there are problems in Shreveport. And for the mayor last night made a comment about, much of it is the perception. It's Shreveporters are down on Shreveport. And part of that is true. But part of that is we have problems. We have still to this day lights out on the Cross Lake Bridge. One of the most beautiful structures in our city that thousands of people drive over. It's beautiful to drive over that lake. Well, at night, guess what? You can't see any lights except the other guy's headlights because all the street lights are out.
See?
Who's fixing that?
Back to my point. At some point, it all sounds like a campaign. 101.7, there's only one mayor. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Weather Channel forecast, kind of cloudy and windy and rainy today, but highs could be in the low 70s. Right now, 66 at KEEL, 650. Here's your money now. Don't forget Your Money Now, presented every single day by Barksdale Federal Credit Union. 652 KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Dallas put the brakes on the Saints' runaway train offense in a 13-10 upset Thursday night in Arlington. The Cowboys' 4th win in a row occurred despite turning the ball over 2 times and being held scoreless in the second half. Dallas's defense kept Drew Brees in check, limiting the Saints quarterback to a measly 127 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Jordan Lewis's interception of a poorly thrown pass from Breeze with just over 2 minutes to play sealed the win. Houghton alum Dak Prescott played lights out in the first half, completing 88% of his passes for 194 yards and a touchdown. In the second half, Prescott cooled off, throwing for just 60 yards, plus he fumbled the ball away with 2:32 to play inside the Saints' 15-yard line when the Cowboys were going for the final nail in the coffin. But the Cowboys' defense bailed out their quarterback with Lewis's interception 2 plays later. There were several questionable calls as well as penalties that should have been whistled but weren't. That was the bad news for both teams. The good news is they each have something to complain about in a poorly officiated game. Dallas improves to 7-5 while New Orleans drops to 10-2. High school football around the area. Manny hosts Welsh in a 2A semifinal game tonight, while Haynesville welcomes Kentwood to Claiborne Parish for a 1A semifinal this evening. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
I don't mean to sound bitter. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty. Matt's over here ordering stuff for his dad, stuff you can only get, I guess, in the Baltimore area because that's where he's from.
No, McDowell, Virginia, which I think it's funny you can order stuff online in a place that has the internet connection of 1987.
So what is this called? What are you ordering?
I'm ordering him because in Highland County, one of the biggest exports is their maple. So I'm ordering some stuff for my dad, some buckwheat pancake mix and locally sourced maple syrup.
I started the segment saying that I'm still a little bitter, and I don't know why.
Could have got that for you, by the way.
I don't know why this reminded me of this, or that reminded me of this. But I got 2 words for you.
I know what you're going to say.
What are the 2 words? Rendezvous ribs.
Yeah. I know what you're going to say.
About 10 years ago, Erin decided to order. Not only did she
run
want,
out of time.
Not only did she want, no, we got 30 seconds. Not only did she want rendezvous ribs from Memphis, she wanted them for free. So she picked up the phone and called Rendezvous Ribs in Memphis and said, "Hi, this is Erin McCarty at KVKI Radio in Shreveport. We're having an on-air radio station-sponsored barbecued rib contest."
We were having a contest.
Which didn't exist.
No, we really did.
But we're going to use yours as the control. You are the bar.
Yeah.
Could you send us a couple of slabs? Well, they sent you a couple of slabs.
Yeah.
Sides.
They were good, weren't they?
T-shirts, hats, etc.
Mm-hmm, they were good, weren't they?
Erin left me a T-shirt.
Nuh-uh, I didn't even leave you that. I left you a little hat.
I got a T-shirt at
home.
Did
you? Okay,
yeah,
good.
I did. Yeah, with a barbecue sauce stain that you made. Still a little bitter. 6:57. Here's Rush on Keel.
Republicans are squandering their limited time left in power. They only have a few days of business scheduled before the December recess. In January, of course, the Democrats take over the House. Now, Republicans could be working on priorities, Politico says, like funding the border wall that Trump has been after for 2 years. They could be overhauling Obamacare, which they've promised to repeal for years. Senator Ted Cruz is criticizing the apparent lack of effort. With only 5 weeks of Republican control of Congress and the White House, Cruz says they should be working around the clock. Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy says the problem is everybody wants to quit at 4 o'clock so they can go home to watch Wheel of Fortune. And nobody wants to work weekends. I believe both of those are true. So the bottom line is, sadly, some Republicans don't want results. They don't want to get it done, especially when it comes to the border wall. This attitude, more than anything else, is why voters sent 40 Republicans packing in the midterms. And if it doesn't change, then a lot of things aren't going to get better.
So here's something you might have experienced. I used to post to job boards, only to spend countless hours
sorting through way too many resumes
just to find a few qualified candidates for
my tech sales teams,
the trucking business I hire for,
my hair salons.
That old process was definitely not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter. They figured out hiring.
ZipRecruiter did the work for me. Their powerful matching technology scanned thousands of resumes
to find people with the right skills, education, and experience for my job,
and actively invited them to apply.
So I got qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try ZipRecruiter now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Uri Drive near Southfield Road. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Weather Channel forecast, increasing clouds. No kidding, and a chance of rain. Heavy at times today and windy. High of about 70. Right now 65 at Keel, 7 o'clock. Here's Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. KEEL, 710 AM and K269GO, 101.7 FM, Shreveport.
Good morning. Just after 7 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Down yonder, Miss Erin is back and has local news in a second or two.
The two candidates for mayor squared off last night on NBC6. We'll take a closer look. Some nasty weather is headed in our direction. We'll have that, too. And it's off to jail for some former Explo Systems leaders.
So Erin says she's got something to talk about here in the first segment that will make my head explode, which means, of course, her head has already exploded.
Oh, my God.
Which explains why she's wearing a hat. I don't know what it is, but it is some sort of city government wastes money thing.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what it is. We'll find out in just about 5 minutes.
Upset.
Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather. It's all coming up this hour, and it's here on KEEL.
Information. KEEL News now.
The two finalists in the mayor's race squared off on NBC6 last night. Jobs was one of the big topics.
Although there's been job growth here, there's also been job loss. We can't count the wins without counting the losses. This area has lost 3,600 jobs. My way to go about fixing that is have an economic development department that is dedicated to going out and marketing our city to recruit jobs here to stop the bleeding here, because we can't get the talent here that we need without being able to offer them jobs.
Adrian Perkins is challenging Mayor Ollie Tyler, who talked about the failure of the Cross Bayou plan.
We brought in council members and we worked with them diligently. They had no questions. And so when they did not vote for it, I was really shocked. We brought investors to the table with more than $139 million that we could have developed Cross Bayou. And it didn't work. And now that I think about doing it differently, we plan to bring that project back. But we will do it differently this time.
Former Republican candidate Jim Talaferro announces he won't make an endorsement in the race. Now, Tyler did pick up the endorsement of the Shreveport firefighters, while Perkins picked up the support from the Fraternal Order of Police. More political news today. Senator John Kennedy says he will announce on Monday whether or not he's seeking the governor's mansion in Baton Rouge. Shreveport police investigating a shooting that happened on Liba Street last night. A 5-year-old boy and his parents were shot during the incident. One on-scene officer said the shooting appeared to be a targeted attack. Substitute Shreveport Police Chief Ben Raymond has outlined his plan for fighting crime.
We're going to enhance our proactive policing initiatives. This is not a new approach, but a renewed focus on proactive efforts.
Raymond also wanted to make it clear that overall crime numbers are down. A federal judge has ordered $34 million in restitution from a former owner of a company that committed what one prosecutor calls the nation's worst ever dumping of military explosives. The case arose from a huge ammunitions blast in 2012 at Camp Minden. The judge sentenced the former owner to 4 years and 7 months in prison and gave sentences ranging from 2 to 5 years for 4 other men. A rough weekend on the weather front. National Weather Service Shreveport meteorologist Brandy Richardson says the system will impact those north of I-20, but those to the south should be prepared as well.
The potential is lower than it is across North Louisiana, not by much, so I don't think anybody should change their plans on how they prepare for it.
The storm should be rolling in later today. Louisiana ranked near the bottom in fiscal transparency. Matt Parker takes a look at that.
According to a new study by Truth in Accounting, Louisiana was the 9th worst state in the U.S. for fiscal transparency. The study says that Louisiana does a terrible job with state financial reporting and doesn't do a great job reporting information to the public. Also ranking near the bottom of the list are Missouri, Nebraska, Vermont, and Arkansas. However, the Bayou State is trying to be more forthcoming with the new Louisiana Checkbook website. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Donald Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, pleads guilty to lying to congressional investigators about a Russian real estate deal sought by Trump. Cohen confessed that during the 2016 Republican presidential campaign, he pursued a deal on Trump's behalf to build a luxury tower in the heart of Moscow. Authorities say 5 Florida junior high school students hospitalized after eating candy laced with marijuana. How the youngsters got the marijuana-infused gummy bears is not clear yet. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Ten past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Kings Highway near Linwood Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 12 past 7 o'clock. Grab your mic. Is this going to be as intense, as revealing as she says it's going to be?
I have no idea. I'm as excited to find out what she's got as you are.
Is she keeping secrets from you also?
He doesn't know. He did one little legwork for me on this, but he
let's
didn't.
not say
So
little,
before you tell us what it is, what's the motivation for this?
Something popped up on my phone yesterday. Something popped up on my phone while I was, lounging around the house, and I looked at it and I saw the number, and I went, "Wait a minute, something's wrong with this picture."
Okay.
And what popped up on my phone?
What popped up?
Was Mayor LaToya Cantrell's budget for 2019
She's
in New
the mayor
Orleans.
of New Orleans.
Yeah. And the budget for the city of New Orleans for 2019, the overall budget, is $700 million.
Hang on, should I be writing
write some things down? Yeah.
Okay.
Because you might have to do some ciphering because I ain't good at it.
No nice rope belt there,
Yeah.
Jethro.
$700 million.
Gotcha.
Is the budget
Complete
for
budget, top to bottom.
Yeah, whole budget.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
It got me thinking. The complete budget for Shreveport is $500 million.
Hold on a second. Shreveport 500 M.
You remember the pecan story we were just doing a minute ago?
Yeah.
Their budget is 17% bigger than ours. Okay?
Right.
New Orleans' budget is 17% bigger than ours. Okay, let's jump to the next figure I went and searched for. What's the population of New Orleans? Take a wild guess.
New Orleans proper, New Orleans Metro.
City of New Orleans.
350, 400,000?
393,000 people.
Okay.
Okay. Shreveport's population is down to 192,000. Okay. So they've got almost double the population that we have.
400 to 200, give or take.
400 to 200. But yet their budget is only 17% bigger than ours. Are you getting what I'm throwing out here?
Mm-hmm.
They live on a budget of $700 million for 393,000 people. Okay? I'm just going to keep it real simple. 400,000 people. The budget's $700 million.
We have 200,000.
Our budget's $500 million. Why? Why are we doing something? Why are we spending so much more per capita, per person, than New Orleans? And I'll tell you, I even went back and I did some other work. I looked at Baton Rouge. I thought, let's see what Baton Rouge is. How's Baton Rouge? Baton Rouge is a little different animal, and so is Lafayette.
And why is that?
Because it's city-parish government. So it would be like if you took all of Caddo Parish and Shreveport's budget.
In other words, you're not going to see a budget for just the city within the city limit.
Right. The Baton Rouge budget, which is the Baton Rouge Metro Council, whatever it's called, is the $900 million. So it is way different. And Baton Rouge's population is 225,000. So, not too far from us. But they spend a lot of money. But it includes the entire parish. So it's a different animal. It's not apples to apples and oranges to oranges, or whatever you're supposed to say. So I even drummed down a little further. I said, let's check Lafayette. Mind you, Lafayette's a little different animal too. It's a city parish government, form of government. So you have the outskirts of Lafayette are also included in this budget. And it's a $633 million budget of a population of 126,000. But I'm troubled by how we spend $500 million in a city where the population is under 200,000. Can you do that math? $500 million for 200,000 people. How much is that for every person? And when you compare the New Orleans numbers, when you look at the New Orleans has a way bigger police force than we do. A way bigger hunk of that money goes to the police department.
Fair to say a far more vast area?
I would bet so. But I'm not sure. That's another fact I'm going to look up today. But I saw that number come across my phone of $700 million, and I thought, surely New Orleans' budget would be way bigger than ours because they serve twice as many people. How do they serve twice as many people with only 17% more money? Are we doing something wrong?
Or maybe just New Orleans is doing it poorly. I don't know.
No, New Orleans is doing it great.
You think so?
Well, if they're serving 400,000 people for fewer dollars, don't you like smaller government? Don't you like them to trim their budgets?
Have you been to New Orleans lately?
Well, I get that.
Look, here's the deal. And I said this when I got back from New Orleans last time. If you drive down Magazine Street from the French Quarter, going down Magazine away from downtown, away from the French Quarter toward Audubon Park, parallel to St. Charles.
Right.
It literally is as bad a road or worse than any road, any street you'll find in Shreveport.
Oh, absolutely.
The difference is people in New Orleans go, that gives the city character.
Yeah.
People in Shreveport say, who's going to pay for my new wheel? And I'm being totally serious.
Right.
I'm being totally serious. New Orleans is, for all intents and purposes, falling apart.
Yes.
But they embrace that. They think that makes them cool. They think it gives them character.
Right.
If you drive down Magazine, you're taking your life in your hands. For no other reason than it is like driving down the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
But it gives us character.
One thing we need to mention, because Matt did some work on this for me, is that there is something that we get in Shreveport for free that has to come out of this budget. We don't pay for our garbage collection in Shreveport. We don't pay a garbage fee. We pay our water and sewer bill. But they've always done kind of garbage collection. They've talked about a fee. They've talked about adding a fee.
It was a recycling fee.
Well, there's a recycling fee, but we don't pay for garbage collection per se. Matt did a little checking on this, and in New Orleans, they pay $100 a year for garbage collection, and they get it every other week, correct? He also checked Baton Rouge for me. Listen to this. Baton Rouge residents pay $23 a month.
Is it privatized there?
It is, absolutely.
There you go.
And they get pickup twice a week. I know my brother gets pickup twice a week.
What does Bossier City pay? Do you know?
I'm not sure what they pay in
privatized
Bossier.
in Bossier. I think they pay about 20. Is it 20 a month? I have no idea. I don't live there.
But
Somebody can
that
text us or call us and
that
tell
adds
us.
a lot of money to the budget. But do those numbers jump out at you like they did me? For a city that's twice as big in terms of population, to spend only 17% more, it tells me our budget is so ballooned up.
Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884.
Am I missing something?
What do you think? Is Erin missing something? I don't know. I ain't a numbers guy, but I can't imagine you can't find someone between now and 8 who can explain it to us.
Please help me.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at North Market and North Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some traffic delays on Shed Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
FM, 710 Keel Sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Dallas put the brakes on the Saints' runaway train offense in a 13-10 upset Thursday night in Arlington. The Cowboys' fourth win in a row occurred despite turning the ball over 2 times and being held scoreless in the second half. Dallas's defense kept Drew Brees in check, limiting the Saints quarterback to a measly 127 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Jordan Lewis's interception of a poorly thrown pass from Brees with just over 2 minutes to play sealed the win. Houghton alum Dak Prescott played lights out in the first half, completing 88% of his passes for 194 yards and a touchdown. In the second half, Prescott cooled off, throwing for just 60 yards, plus he fumbled the ball away with 2:32 to play inside the Saints' 15-yard line when the Cowboys were going for the final nail in the coffin. But the Cowboys' defense bailed out their quarterback with Lewis's interception 2 plays later. There were several questionable calls as well as penalties that should have been whistled but weren't. That was the bad news for both teams. The good news is they each have something to complain about in a poorly officiated game. Dallas improves to 7-5 while New Orleans drops to 10-2. High school football around the area. Manny hosts Welsh in a 2A semifinal game tonight, while Haynesville welcomes Kentwood to Claiborne Parish for a 1A semifinal this evening. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. Saints upset last night. Was it really an upset?
Of course it was.
Was it really?
Absolutely. Yes, it was an upset. Saints were on a 10-win streak.
It's the NFL. Nobody wins. Nobody goes 15-1. The best teams go like 12-4, 11-5. 10-6 will probably win you a division.
Yeah, it was an upset.
Do teams really go? Look, I said this. The last thing I said yesterday on this radio program in your absence, when Greg was in here and Matt was in here, and Greg was like, Saints will win 42-13, and Matt was 35-10. Saying, I said the Cowboys could win. It's a regular season game in the NFL. The best teams in the NFL lose 4 or 5 times every season.
Mm-hmm.
The best teams in the NFL lay an egg at least twice a season.
Man, we laid a whopper of an egg. Saints laid a whopper of an egg. 200 total yards of offense or something crazy like that. It was not
Did they, or did the Cowboys really play? The point
Cowboys have a great defense, no doubt.
The point is, it was a perfect storm for the Cowboys last night.
Yeah.
If you hold the Saints, if you keep Drew Brees off the field, the Saints had, I think it was 49 offensive plays. They average about 70.
Mm-hmm.
Matt says, Sean Payton, he called a terrible game. I said, no, if your plays work, you're a genius. If they don't, you called a terrible game.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys played really well. The Saints didn't play that well. Somewhere between the best teams are going to lose 4 or 5 times a season. And I was watching Fox News this morning, or Fox Sports, and I was listening to ESPN, and there's are the Cowboys trumpeting themselves as a Super Bowl contender? Does this mean the Saints aren't as good as everyone thinks? It's one freaking game.
Yeah.
Settle down. The best teams lose 5 or 6 times a season.
My problem is these two don't play that often. we'll play every 3-4 years or something like that.
Which, pardon me, you're making my point.
So they get bragging rights for all
There was a
this,
little more made out of this game than maybe it deserves.
Well, it's Shreveport Bossier. You know the age-old debate here. When those two teams were playing at the same time on a Sunday, and the TV stations had to choose which one, it caused an uproar.
Parky, it looked like, speaking of uproar, what's on your mind, young man?
Oh, nothing. I'm just listening to this wonderful conversation. But
I don't have anything to say, but now that you called my name.
I just want to mention that you said that the best teams lose 4 or 5 games. Not true. Look at the Patriots' record on their really good years.
Yeah.
Look at the average Super Bowl team over the last 5 years. Look at the teams that won their Super Bowl and look at their regular season records. I'll bet that on average they lose 5 games. I'll bet you the average record is 11-5.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying the best team in football for a long time, the Patriots, only would lose 0 to 2 games a year.
Yeah.
That team that lost the 17-0 Super Bowl.
I do appreciate all my coworkers coming in here with their blue and silver on and their stars on. That's nice. It's okay. I'm good with it. You got your bragging rights.
So are you as big a Saints fan today as you were yesterday?
Of course. I love the Saints. I also like the Cowboys. When the two teams play each other, I'm a Saints fan. Because what state do I live in? Louisiana.
Lots of football to play. Saints fans, take a deep breath. Cowboy fans, big win, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
29 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Ruben's ready.
The intersection at West 70th Street and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping a close eye on that backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Duettig at the Weather Channel.
City 318-742-6767. I got to sell a little.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Strong storms headed in our direction. National Weather Service Shreveport meteorologist Brandy Richardson says the weather pattern will also bring a cold front to the region.
There will be a very weak cold front. It's not going to bring us any real cold air or anything like that, but there is something there that will help to force those thunderstorms.
Richardson says the hardest hit areas will likely be north of I-20. The two candidates for mayor squared off on NBC6 last night. No real sparks flying, but Mayor Tyler did say we have made strides on bringing in jobs.
We brought several thousand jobs to Shreveport. Even though, we've lost some like most cities do. I think our wins are bigger than our losses.
Adrian Perkins says we can and must do better.
We are missing opportunities by not marketing things properly and really tying into the people of Shreveport.
The election is December 8th. Talking crime, the substitute chief Ben Raymond had a news conference saying he wants to change our strategy just a bit.
Proactive policing means preventing crimes before they occur. It means talking to the suspicious people, stopping suspicious vehicles, being alert to opportunities for when crimes have occurred or about to occur or are occurring, and stop them at that point.
Meantime, Shreveport police investigating a shooting that happened on Liba Street last night. According to investigators, a 5-year-old boy and his parents were shot during the incident. One on-scene officer said that shooting appeared to be a targeted attack. Former Explo Systems officials get jail time. Matt Parker with that.
5 high-ranking Explo Systems officials were sentenced to years in jail and to pay millions of dollars in restitution for their part in the Camp Minden explosion 6 years ago. Explo co-owner David Smith was sentenced to 55 months in prison and ordered to pay $34 million in restitution. Vice President William Wright was sentenced to 41 months and ordered to pay $149,000. The other men sentenced got no less than 24 months in prison and were also ordered to pay thousands of dollars in restitution for their crimes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
President Trump kicking off 2 days of diplomacy at the Group of 20 Nations meeting in Argentina. That's after his abrupt decision to cancel a meeting with the Russian president. Officials say a teenager managed to deposit himself into the vault of an abandoned bank in Hollywood, Florida, and it took several hours to get him out. News outlets report firefighters had to struggle to get the teen freed. First, they tried to drill through a wall, but that didn't go well. But a worker at the bank's new branch across the street heard about the problem. That worker remembered the code and was able to open the vault's massive door. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Was that a rhetorical, or was that just meant for off the air? I need to find out, you say.
Well, I want to find out how many police officers there are in New Orleans.
Shouldn't be hard. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Erin's on this kick comparing Shreveport's city budget to that of New Orleans, i.e. both cities, not the metropolitan areas.
You know what I just found out?
New Orleans has a city population of, what was it once again?
393,000.
Okay, so about 400,000.
Yeah, and that's the same population for Orleans Parish.
And
so the entire city's in Orleans Parish.
So you've got a city of 400,000 with a annual budget of $700 million.
Yeah.
Shreveport has 200,000?
192.
Okay. And an annual budget of $500 million.
That is a 17%.
So Shreveport has half the population, and New Orleans spends $200 million a year more annually on their city budget.
How can they do that? How can they only spend 17% more
there are people
for
who
double as many people?
Well, there are people who will tell you that New Orleans is a dump.
And they also pay a garbage fee in New Orleans.
And there are people who will tell you that New Orleans, the crime is... Look, if you took somebody, what did I say to you off the air? If Ollie were running for re-election in New Orleans, she would have won.
Mm-hmm.
If you take somebody from New Orleans, and you make this point all the time about the infrastructure of South Louisiana, Baton Rouge, or New Orleans compared to here. If you took somebody from New Orleans as much as we complain about our roads, about the potholes and the condition and the repairs and how slow or fast it takes, whatever, if you took somebody from New Orleans and brought them up here and showed them our infrastructure, they'd go, damn, I'm moving to Shreveport. This is awesome.
Look what I just found.
What's that?
Give or take couple of hundred. How many police officers do you think New Orleans has?
Ooh.
Because the bulk of our budget is police.
400 to 500?
1,100.
What?
We're under 500.
Yeah.
They have twice as many police officers.
They should have twice as many policemen.
How are they managing on that budget? Or is our budget so, what's the word? Inflated, overblown, fat, and sassy?
Been 20 minutes since you first brought this up. I can't believe you haven't found.
Can someone explain?
Who's the one with the Rolodex? Who's the one with 1,000 names in her phone?
Who's going to tell me why our budget is so big compared to New Orleans?
Start making calls.
Who's going to explain it to me?
738, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic and weather coming up right now. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at West 70th Street and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping a close eye on that backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
.117 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Jack Spring electric shock buster button unused in some time. That's a good thing, but thanks to Jack Spring for keeping it working, operational, and at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
So you watched the not the mayoral forum, not the debate, because it really wasn't a debate.
Well, they called it a debate last night. When
it was kind of a conversation was the term everybody was using, and they were promoting it as such.
Mhm.
It's the mayoral conversation. Did they converse? What did they converse about?
They it was kind of rapid fire questions.
From
the same things we've heard from the two anchors on NBC6.
It was not in front of a live audience. It was just a studio deal?
Just in the studio.
Mhm.
You had Mayor Tyler sitting on one end. You had the two anchors in the middle. And then you had Adrian Perkins on the other end. And they talked a lot. They spent a lot of time open from jump talking about crime. They spent a lot of time talking about jobs. At the end, they said, kind of a lighthearted question. I was hoping they'd ask Saints or Cowboys, but they didn't.
Because that's going to affect my vote in the end.
It would just been fun. But at the end, they did ask each of them to compliment the other. Is there something you admire about the other?
Yeah.
And that was kind of interesting.
What did Ollie say about Adrian?
Oh, his service to the country.
What did Adrian say
great
about Miss
education, her years of service, her dedication, her public service, her years in the classroom, etc.
When they were talking about jobs, did anybody talk about the new BMW plant that's coming to America?
Did not come up.
Now it's not carved in stone, but let me read. BMW. What a coincidence. Who in America, what cities in America, let's make a list, have empty car manufacturing plants at the ready?
We do.
BMW is considering a second United States manufacturing plant that could produce engines and transmissions. That, according to Chief Executive Harold Kruger, he said that earlier this week, shortly after report, U.S. President Donald Trump tariffs on imported cars, blah. Oh, wait. There's going to be tariffs. We still want to sell cars in America. Maybe we should move to America. Kruger, in an interview at the Los Angeles Auto Show, talks about Brexit, doesn't matter. The compromise on the table, doesn't matter. BMW is considering changes and expanding its U.S. operations as sales in the country, i.e. the USA, continue to grow. BMW has a United States assembly line vehicle plant in South Carolina, planning to open another factory in Mexico next year, and is now considering changes to its current scheme of importing engines and transmissions, i.e., stop importing engines and transmissions to the United States, building them here. Let me read that first paragraph again. BMW is considering a second United States manufacturing plant that could produce engines and transmissions, that according to Chief Executive Harold Kruger. Thoughts? What should be suddenly, perhaps,
jump on a plane, somebody.
the first order of business for whoever the mayor happens to be
Somebody needs to go court these folks.
after the first of the year in 2019?
Oh, my goodness. We need to go after them. We have a plant. We have, we have an empty building for the most part. We have a perfect facility. I just, aggressiveness. We need aggressiveness. And if it's not going to be the mayor, it needs to be somebody who's a salesperson type, who jumps on the first plane and makes an appointment and goes.
Parky, do you have the Stephen Jackson letter, the Stephen Jackson Facebook post? It was kind of cute.
I do.
I mean that in a manly way.
Dear BMW, we have a plant here in Shreveport, Caddo. Land Rover was interested in not so long ago, so we know it's appealing to an European automaker. Sincerely, a BMW owner.
Now, when Erin was making her point, somebody needs to be on this. You were kind of, I'm not going to say rolling your eyes, but you had that look on your face that only Erin gives you.
Well, before we can pitch a auto plant that is currently possessed by someone else, we need to evict the current possessor. That would be the first order of business if this Elio deal was so bad and with everybody involved. We've had parish officials tell us, like, well, we could do some stuff to get them out of there. Well, maybe it's time for them to do some of that stuff.
Yeah, it is time. It's time to move on from the Elio deal. I say cut your losses, move on, find somebody new. And we've got somebody new that's looking. We should just be, if we're not aggressively going after BMW and other car makers, I'm not saying this is the only deal, and others.
Yeah, one of the biggest car makers, one of the biggest, most prestigious automobile manufacturers in the world, who's looking for a spot.
Yes.
In the United States.
We got one right on a freeway.
Think if I called Harold Kruger in Berlin or wherever he happens to be, Munich, I don't know. You think if I called this chief executive, this CEO of BMW, Harold Kruger, you think he knows Shreveport's on the map? Why don't you see if you can send him an email right now? I bet you could send him an email. I bet nobody else from Shreveport has.
I'll find him.
The other little fun issue that is with the former GM plant is because it's technically outside the city limits in Caddo
Parish.
For this to work,
everybody's got
there would have to be synergy between the city and parish, which just doesn't seem to exist at the moment. So we have bigger issues facing potential employers and manufacturing companies and whatnot than just contacting them.
Find his email yet?
No, not yet. I'll get it though. I'll get it. I'll definitely get it. I'll find him.
Coming up just past 8 o'clock, we discuss in a little more detail Erin's frustration with the Saints last evening and Erin's continued frustration. You will have about a 7 or 8 minute break across the top of the hour. You need to find somebody to talk to us about the budget. You've got
I got an email on
it. Who from whom?
Well, I'm not going to say yet because I'm
Can you read it to us?
Not yet.
So it's secret.
It's kind of secret, yeah.
See, just to sum up, if you're just joining us, Erin has determined that New Orleans, with a with a city population.
It looks like I might have my numbers wrong. So I'm going to go double check, but I may have my numbers wrong.
So don't repeat your numbers?
Don't repeat my numbers.
Oh, man.
I got to go double check them. But that came across my phone. That number came across my phone, and it had me like, whoa.
How'd it have you going?
Whoa!
Could have lived without that. 748, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Your money now is just a couple of seconds away. Brought to us by Barksdale Federal Credit Union. Traffic and weather coming up next on Keel.
The intersection at West 70th Street and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping a close eye on that backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
Good morning, 7:52. It's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Sports Update. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Dallas put the brakes on the Saints' runaway train offense in a 13-10 upset Thursday night in Arlington. The Cowboys' fourth win in a row occurred despite turning the ball over 2 times and being held scoreless in the second half. Dallas's defense kept Drew Brees in check, limiting the Saints quarterback to a measly 127 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Jordan Lewis's interception of a poorly thrown pass from Brees with just over 2 minutes to play sealed the win. Houghton alum Dak Prescott played lights out in the first half, completing 88% of his passes for 194 yards and a touchdown. In the second half, Prescott cooled off, throwing for just 60 yards, plus he fumbled the ball away with 2:32 to play inside the Saints' 15-yard line when the Cowboys were going for the final nail in the coffin. But the Cowboys' defense bailed out their quarterback with Lewis's interception 2 plays later. There were several questionable calls as well as penalties that should have been whistled but weren't. That was the bad news for both teams. The good news is they each have something to complain about in a poorly officiated game. Dallas improves to 7-5, while New Orleans drops to 10-2. High school football around the area. Manny hosts Welsh in a 2A semifinal game tonight, while Haynesville welcomes Kentwood to Claiborne Parish for a 1A semifinal this evening. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Just looking at the TV here for a second, and it basically 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. The size of the caravan, the migrant caravan in Mexico, is growing. It's like about, 7,000 or 8,000 now, whatever it happens to be. And they're blaming Trump because it's basically a tent city. It's basically a refugee camp in Mexico. These people who want to come into the United States.
They're right there on the border?
Yeah,
outside San Diego?
Yeah.
What are we going to do with them?
Are they our problem? The news is making it look like it's Trump's fault. If we just let 5 or 6 or 7,000 people in this caravan into the United States, these people who just want to come here and make lives, but it goes back to my question: how many people do you let in? Basically, it's my question has been for some time: who gets to come here? Does everyone get to come here for whatever reason? Come and go as they please, and while they're here, take advantage of our entitlement programs, including housing, medical care, and education. And the Democrats say yes. So if you let these 5 or 6 or 8,000 people in, how many more?
Where do we stop?
How many more? And I said the other day, and that lady, did she send the email to Manny? I forget who she sent, or was it on Facebook, where she just called me a radical right-wing, what was the line, Parky? Do you remember? Radically right-wing conspiracy. And I said, has it dawned? I'm certainly not the only one to say this. I said, could it be that this is just sort of organized? They came all the way from Honduras and or Guatemala, all the way up to like San Diego, when their shortest route would be, Brownsville, Texas? Could it be that they're somewhat organized? Who's fed these people along the way? Who's basic
footing the bill?
Basic human services for 5 or 6 or 7,000 people. It's not like Halloween night where 10 kids coincidentally show up on your doorstep all at once.
Right.
There's a little more of organization to this than like I said, I'm not the first one to say this. I certainly won't be the last. But for someone to text me and say, you're just a radical right-wing conspiracy tinfoil hat, yeah, okay. But they're all there. And
Yeah.
it's Trump's fault because he won't let them in. Freaking please. 757, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Sean Hannity.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Clapper lies to Congress, USA Today. CIA Director Brennan, Congress, tells about how Brennan lied before the Senate, in The Guardian. Loretta Lynch, New York Post, lied to Congress. James Comey lied to Congress. Eric Holder, Investors Business Daily, lied to Congress. Lois Lerner lied to Congress. Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe lied to Congress. Clinton aide Cheryl Mills lied to the DOJ. Uma Abedin lied to DOJ officials. A lot of lying accusations. Michael Cohen's the only one. This is not equal justice under the law. It's not an equal application of our laws. It's like shredding the Constitution and selectively doing whatever the hell you want to do as long as you hate the other person. A country doesn't survive with a system like this.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
Hey, if you or a loved one struggles with leg or foot cramps, you've got to try TheraWorks Relief. Now, this non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast, and with daily use, TheraWorks Relief can prevent muscle cramps, so that means you can get a full night's sleep or do the activities you love without any worry. TheraWorks Relief is my choice for preventing and relieving muscle cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, or just go to the website, TheraWorksRelief.com.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Still keeping a close eye on that major accident on Colquitt Road near Artist Taylor Road. And we have some major backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Welling at the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Just after 8 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Down yonder, Miss Erin is back, and she has local news. Tons of it up next.
The two candidates for mayor squared off on NBC6 last night. No real fireworks. We'll take a closer look. Nasty weather headed in our direction. We'll have a look at that, too. And some former Explo workers headed to jail.
I'm always intrigued, and we will discuss this in the first segment. I'm always intrigued that you look for fireworks. No real fireworks.
Uh-huh.
See, I would have said, and I didn't see, but you can tell me what you saw. I would have hoped you had said no real substance or plenty of substance or excellent points made. But no real fireworks. Nobody got out the soccer boppers. Nobody hit each other below the belt. I'm not sure I want that as much as
I
you.
would have liked soccer boppers.
Fletcher in sports, traffic and weather. Ollie can go to the body like nobody you've ever seen.
Oh, I know.
Fletcher in sports, traffic and weather. It's coming up this hour here on KEEL.
Information. KEEL News now.
The two candidates for mayor squared off on NBC6 last night. No real fireworks, but Mayor Ollie Tyler did say many of our problems can be traced to negativity.
I think that we have to develop first selling Shreveport to Shreveporters. Particularly during the political season, when people continue to beat up on their own city, instead of finding ways to help us solve issues, then we ourselves create some of that. And I must tell you that over the past 4 years, I've noticed that we have so many great assets in Shreveport, but Shreveporters don't believe in Shreveport.
Adrian Perkins says we must also do better to help local business.
The business community are very disenchanted with our MPC, and they feel like there is no point of contact and nobody really facilitating their business growth at City Hall. So the way that we get after that is creating those relationships, listening to them, putting an advisory board together that's tied into that economic development department that I was talking about, so that we can regularly feel what our employers are feeling in our community.
The election is December 8th. Nasty weather headed our way tomorrow, it looks like. National Weather Service Shreveport meteorologist Brandy Richardson says an upper-level trough is likely to push rain into the area during the daylight hours.
During the day, probably not severe, just your garden variety stuff. But as that trough gets a little bit closer in the evening hours Friday, that's when we could see our severe weather threat ramping up, especially for areas along I-20 and north of there.
Richardson says the weather pattern will also bring a cold front to the area. 5 high-ranking Explo Systems officials sentenced to years in jail and to pay millions in restitution for their part in the Camp Minden explosion. Explo co-owner David Smith sentenced to 55 months in prison and ordered to pay $34 million in restitution. Vice President William Wright sentenced to 41 months and ordered to pay $149,000. The other men sentenced got no less than 24 months in prison and were also ordered to pay thousands in restitution. A shooting leaves 3 wounded, including a small child. Matt Parker with that.
Shreveport police are investigating a shooting that took place on Liba Street Thursday evening. According to investigators, a 5-year-old boy and his parents were shot during the incident. One on-scene officer said that the shooting appeared to be a targeted attack. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Substitute Shreveport Police Chief Ben Raymond outlining his plan for fighting crime. He says the priority is to be more proactive He also says overall crime numbers are indeed down.
Men and women of the Shreveport Police Department have done an outstanding job in working to reduce crime and the fear of crime. This year, we are on pace to experience historic lows in categories of total robberies as well as residential burglaries.
Raymond says he's also adamant about addressing juvenile crime. President Donald Trump's approval rating up to a clear majority of voters in Louisiana, according to a new poll from Bernie Pincinat.
The Kavanaugh hearings and whatever else you can think of that went their way, the tax cuts, all of those things have materialized into Trump reaching 55% popular.
Trump sports a 70% approval rating in total from white voters in Louisiana. First, she was accused of passing gas. Now a woman is accused of threatening to cut the man who accused her of doing just that. Police in Florida say the woman, 37-year-old Shanetta Yvette Wilson, passed gas while waiting in line at a Dollar General store. A nearby customer got upset, accusing her of doing it so loudly. Started an argument. That's when she went into her purse, pulled out a knife, telling him she was going to gut him. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Telling me that he decided not to retire, that he had gone to his doctor and his doctor had placed him on
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. KEEL app is always a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. quoting the news, quoting KEEL News, there were no fireworks. Why do you want fireworks?
Oh, that's just a news word I wrote.
Talking about the mayor's conversation, the candidates' conversation last night on Channel 6.
Yeah, you're a week away from the election.
There were no fireworks.
You think maybe the gloves come off and they go at each other.
Why?
They didn't.
Well, you knew that Adrian
was mild-mannered.
You knew that Adrian was not.
And it's not her style to do that either, so it was mild-mannered, calm.
And yet, you, Ms. Sensational, I'm not saying this is necessarily bad, nor am I saying you're the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Erin, why do you watch NASCAR?
Crashes.
Okay, so when we were putting together when you were putting together the original mayoral forum, I remember you said, well, if we get them all in here at once, maybe they'll, quoting, go at each other.
They haven't. This was the most mild-mannered.
Stop.
This was a sweet mayor's race. It was sweet.
You sound disappointed.
I am.
Why?
I want sparks to fly. I want wigs to be ripped off.
Okay, so the next time Donald Trump tweets something that you find offensive, you remember you said that.
I know.
That flies in the face of Donald Trump. Your biggest
I
complaint.
want that, but I don't think it's right. I still don't like that.
Why do you watch NASCAR?
I like to see him hit the wall. I don't like it. I don't like it somebody gets hurt, but it's exciting.
But you like fire.
It gets my blood boiling.
You
gets
like
me
fire engines.
Yeah.
Fire engines.
I like crunched up cars.
Exactly.
I like crunched up candidates.
And yet, instinctively, that goes against everything you want in a politician. It's
Absolutely.
It's what you want in a candidate.
Yes.
But it's what you hate in a leader.
Absolutely. And you know what? Of these two, I expected what I got last night. I got what I expected.
But why are you disappointed?
Yeah, that.
Why are you disappointed?
I'm not disappointed.
That they conducted themselves with honor and dignity
I'm
and
not
class
disappointed.
and grace.
I'm not disappointed. I just want old-fashioned Louisiana mudslinging every now and then. I want a good old
you wanted
Louisiana
them lying
election.
about each other.
I don't know if it's lying. I don't know.
Fireworks. Fire engines.
Slam. But you can't. If you're Adrian Perkins, you can't do that. And you're Ollie Tyler, you can't really do that.
Well, it's just not in her persona.
It's not in her persona.
And I'm certainly not the first to say that. I'm quoting Scott Hughes specifically the other day.
And Adrian Perkins cannot go after the elder woman.
He showed respect.
Yes.
That she deserves.
Absolutely. And it was there was one thing interesting that I found last night. They asked specifically about Cross Bayou of the mayor, and she said that's not dead to her. She's going to continue to push to develop Cross Bayou. I like to hear that because I think I voted in '97 for a park at Cross Bayou, and I'm not going to forget that, and they know I won't. And I'm waiting on that park to be built. What are we now?
I asked
25 years later?
I asked this yesterday of a number of people off the air and on. In fact, I thought of this question on Wednesday evening. And I've been asking everybody, and I was so disappointed that you weren't here yesterday because I was going to literally build a show around this single question and your response. And I asked you this in the 6 o'clock hour. And the question is, if the results, and if you guys have heard this before, Erin has only heard it once and she's been thinking about it for 2 hours. If the results of the general election about a month or so ago, if the results were reversed, if Ollie had 30%, Adrian had 25%, if Ollie had come out on top no matter who was second, if Ollie had not gotten 50%, but if Ollie went into this runoff election with a substantial lead, 4, 5, 6 points, do you think Alan Crump would still be chief of police? And is that important to you? And does that matter?
Yeah. Boy, that's a good question. I think he might be.
The one thing, what was that?
I think he might be.
Because the one thing, and we went back and listened over the course of the news break over the top of the hour. We went back and listened to Miss Ollie's phone conversation with us right after the police chief change, right after he announced his retirement / medical, Chief Crump's medical leave.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really clear up, because we kind of asked her a couple of different ways. She doesn't really clear up who went to who first. I mean, she says, he came to me, said he was going to retire. Then he came to me and said he was going to take medical leave. But she says, before that, we had talked a couple of times. But there's no real clarity about what those conversations were, i.e., have you thought about medical leave? Have you thought about retirement? Alan, see you limping down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
You okay?
No.
Maybe you need to take off, I don't know, a lifetime.
I think it was his idea to move on.
Okay, now, if it were, and you made a fascinating, and Matt thought absurd, we'll go to break. We're just getting started.
I have to fix my math, too, because
We'll
I
talk-
have screwed up royally.
Talk about that at the 40.
Bad.
40 segment that is on the way. Erin seeks contrition. Mea culpa.
Big time.
19 past 8 o'clock. Wait till you hear what I bring up next time.
Oh, boy.
About this. Just wait. I can't wait. Sorry, got a little Erin hype.
Stop wiggling.
19 past 8 o'clock. I disgusted myself. Traffic. Here's Ruben.
Still keeping a close eye on that major accident on Colquitt Road near Artist Taylor Road. And we have some major backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Duettig at the Weather Channel.
.107 FM, 710 Keel Sports Update. Fletch is here.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Dallas put the brakes on the Saints' runaway train offense in a 13-10 upset Thursday night in Arlington. The Cowboys' fourth win in a row occurred despite turning the ball over 2 times and being held scoreless in the second half. Dallas's defense kept Drew Brees in check, limiting the Saints quarterback to a measly 127 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Jordan Lewis's interception of a poorly thrown pass from Brees with just over 2 minutes to play sealed the win. Houghton alum Dak Prescott played lights out in the first half, completing 88% of his passes for 194 yards and a touchdown. In the second half, Prescott cooled off, throwing for just 60 yards, plus he fumbled the ball away with 2:32 to play inside the Saints' 15-yard line when the Cowboys were going for the final nail in the coffin. But the Cowboys' defense bailed out their quarterback with Lewis's interception 2 plays later. There were several questionable calls as well as penalties that should have been whistled but weren't. That was the bad news for both teams. The good news is they each have something to complain about in a poorly officiated game. Dallas improves to 7-5 while New Orleans drops to 10-2. High school football around the area. Manny hosts Welsh in a 2A semifinal game tonight, while Haynesville welcomes Kentwood to Claiborne Parish for a 1A semifinal this evening. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Supposed to be kind of ratty today, and then warmer toward the weekend and some sunshine.
Real ratty tomorrow.
And then it's going to get cooler, in fact, downright cold early to middle next week, like daytime highs about 50, lows at night about 30.
I got my firewood already. I'm going to be nice and cozy.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, so the point that you brought up, and we went back during the top of the hour at 8 o'clock news break, and we replayed about a couple of minutes of the interview we had with Mayor Tyler after the change at the police department. Crump, medical leave, retirement, medical leave now, and replaced by Ben Raymond. And we were trying to discern, we were trying to figure out from the questions we asked a couple of different ways, who went to who first. Because Miss Ollie said, well, he came to me, said he was going to retire. Then he came to me, said he was going to take medical leave. And she had said, we had talked once or twice before that. But it wasn't real clear in either of our minds what those conversations were. She didn't really get into that. We kind of leaned on her a little bit, but we didn't get the answer we were looking for. The point being, I had said, did she say to him in those meetings, I see you limping down the hall, Alan. Maybe you need to take a little time off. Oh, I don't know, like forever.
No, she didn't say that.
Okay. Explain to me, explain to us, once again, your theory that you proselytized, because I'm not as much fun as Matt made of you on and off the radio when you tossed this out. The more I think about it, it may not be as absurd as he originally thought. But I'm not, well, I don't want to give it away, but tell everybody what you theorized. Tell everybody what you said in the 6 o'clock hour about Chief Crump and his departure.
Well, I think that Chief Crump had some conversations after the election with certain people at City Hall and was kind of told, you're bringing her down. You might be the reason she wasn't leading. And
in other words, lost in the general.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think perhaps he took that to heart for a couple of days and then decided, if I'm the reason that she lost, I maybe need to step aside and move out of the way. So he said, I'm going to go ahead and retire.
So.
Wait. Then he went to his doctor and figured out he had a medical condition. So he decided to go on medical leave. Instead of retire.
For my point, this doesn't matter.
But I got to read a text to you.
Hang on a second.
This is right at this point.
Hang on a second.
They're all over my butt.
So what you're theorizing, and I don't think it's as crazy as Matt thinks. So what you're theorizing is that Chief Crump went to Miss Ollie first and said, I don't want to be a drag on your administration. I don't want it to be my fault that you may lose in the runoff. I'm willing to take the hit for you, and if you want, I will step aside. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you theorize? That Chief Crump was the big man, he stood up and took the hit for Miss Ollie. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I think there's a little bit to that.
If that's the case, if he went to her first and said, I'm willing to step down and take the hit. I don't want to be a drag on your administration or cost you the election. What you're telling me is she didn't replace him. He replaced himself.
Well, she had been talking about a possible replacement. She said in our interview, and I don't know if we had the cut, that she had lost confidence in him.
And if he went to her first, based on your theory, that doesn't speak well of her at all.
Well, they had talked before. We know they had talked before. She said that in our interview.
To your text, can you say who it's from?
No. There's two different texts.
Can you give us a hint who it might be from?
Let's just say an elected official.
Democrat or Republican?
I'm not telling you. Really? If Attorney William Bradford, a.k.a. Whistlebritches, had not told Chief Crump that Ollie was losing because of him, Alan Crump would still be chief of police. End of story. And in parentheses, because he and his mother, Ruth Bradford, are heavily involved in Ollie's campaign.
Well, of course, he's the city attorney.
Oh, and this one. Seriously, Erin. Several people have told y'all that the city attorney, William, this is a different person, by the way, FYI.
Can you give us any hint on this one?
No. Several people have told y'all that the city, I don't know who it is. I don't, but I've gotten several really cool texts from this person. Several people have told y'all that the city attorney went to Crump and asked him to resign. Why don't y'all go to the source? Contact Crump so you won't have to keep guessing what happened.
How many times?
He's not going to lie to y'all. You think Crump was really going to give up $60,000 for the rest of his life to try to save Mayor Tyler? She's always saying facts matter, and these are facts. Wait a minute now. I called Crump. How many?
That was
4 or 5 times?
How many times have we contacted? Have you attempted to contact?
And he has not called me back. I've texted him. I've called. I've left messages. He has not. He wants out.
Honestly,
moving on down the road.
If he wants to be below the radar, I certainly get that at this point. 29 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Local news next. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on I-20 eastbound near Hearn Avenue. And we're still looking at some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Strong storms headed in our direction. National Weather Service Shreveport meteorologist Brandy Richardson says the weather pattern will also bring a cold front to the region.
There will be a very weak cold front. It's not going to bring us any real cold air or anything like that, but there is something there that will help to force those thunderstorms.
Richardson says the hardest hit areas will likely be north of I-20. The two candidates for mayor squared off on NBC6 last night. No real sparks flying, but Mayor Tyler did say we have made strides on bringing in jobs.
We brought several thousand jobs to Shreveport. Even though, we've lost some like most cities do. I think our wins are bigger than our losses.
Adrian Perkins says we can and must do better.
We are missing opportunities by not marketing things properly and really tying into the people of Shreveport.
The election is December 8th. Talking crime, the substitute chief Ben Raymond had a news conference saying he wants to change our strategy just a bit.
Proactive policing means preventing crimes before they occur. It means talking to the suspicious people, stopping suspicious vehicles, being alert to opportunities for when crimes have occurred or about to occur or are occurring, and stop them at that point.
Meantime, Shreveport police investigating a shooting that happened on Liba Street last night. According to investigators, a 5-year-old boy and his parents were shot during the incident. One on-scene officer said that shooting appeared to be a targeted attack. Former Explo Systems officials get jail time. Matt Parker with that.
5 high-ranking Explo Systems officials were sentenced to years in jail and to pay millions of dollars in restitution for their part in the Camp Minden explosion 6 years ago. Explo co-owner David Smith was sentenced to 55 months in prison and ordered to pay $34 million in restitution. Vice President William Wright was sentenced to 41 months and ordered to pay $149,000. The other men sentenced got no less than 24 months in prison and were also ordered to pay thousands of dollars in restitution for their crimes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
President Trump kicking off 2 days of diplomacy at the Group of 20 Nations meeting in Argentina. That's after his abrupt decision to cancel a meeting with the Russian president. Officials say a teenager managed to deposit himself into the vault of an abandoned bank in Hollywood, Florida, and it took several hours to get him out. News outlets report firefighters had to struggle to get the teen freed. First, they tried to drill through a wall, but that didn't go well. But a worker at the bank's new branch across the street heard about the problem. That worker remembered the code and was able to open the vault's massive door. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
One 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, write this down. You got a pen?
I got it.
Okay. A, B, C, D, E. Did you see this, Parky? Did you see this, Erin? A, B, C, D, E.
Alphabet?
Pronounce that.
Obesity.
You're close. Absidy.
Absidy.
Absidy. It's a name.
Somebody named their kid Absidy?
I want you to Google for me now. A, B, C, D, E, Southwest Airlines. If you guys haven't seen this story, it's pretty awesome.
Oh, no. Employee laughed at the 5-year-old?
Just read the story.
Oh, my goodness.
Read the story.
Southwest Airlines apologizes for a gate agent who reportedly laughed at a 5-year-old passenger's name, A, B, C, D, E, all within earshot of the girl and her outraged mother. The incident unfolded at John Wayne Airport in California when the employee noticed the young passenger's unique name pronounced Absidy. The gate agent started mocking my child's name, laughing, pointing at me and my daughter, and talking to other employees. She couldn't believe her ears when other workers joined in the laughter, all just a few feet away.
Now, grossly insensitive, incredibly mean, you could say just adult cruelty toward a child.
Yeah.
But let me ask you something. At what point does the mother bear some kind of responsibility and or blame for naming the kid A, B, C, D, E?
That's an odd name.
If you name your child Absidy,
right?
A, B, C, D, E, does it never occur to you that that's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Remember my story?
Yeah.
Remember my story about camp? Remember the story about camp and the award that I got at camp one summer?
Yeah.
It was Camp Tekawitha
Mm-hmm.
in the wilds and the forests of Alabama. Little Catholic school camp for Catholic school
You got
kids.
the Kick My Butt Award.
That's the point we're getting ready
You
to
did.
make.
Uh-huh.
Everybody got an award at the end of camp, the 2-week camp. Everybody got a prize. Everybody got like a jacket patch.
Mm-hmm.
Camp Tekawitha, 1961.
Yeah.
And you know what I got the award for?
Yeah, I do.
Tell them.
Best table manners.
What was that again?
Best table manners.
Okay, if you want to give a kid an award that says to all the other kids, kick my ass.
Yeah. Give them best table manners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at what point is this not the equivalent of giving your baby, your child, the best table manners award?
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Southwest, by the way, extends a sincere apology to the family.
If you think that this, first of all, the kid's 5. I'm not sure this is the first time this has happened. Probably not. It's
Yeah.
the first time she, at the age of 5, or her mom has heard it. This was the first time. It will not be the last.
No, this
You
kid's in
named your
for it.
kid Absidy.
Yeah.
Now, I put that on Facebook last night. A couple of folks had posted that story.
This is a white woman, by the way. FYI,
had put
if you're
that up-
thinking something different.
I had put that story, I had seen that story on Facebook, and a couple of people had commented on how cruel, how awful, and I had said basically, I said, what burden of responsibility does the mother have for naming her kid Absidy? And then I put a hashtag, boy named Sue.
Oh, yeah.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on I-20 eastbound near Hearn Avenue, and we're still looking at some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Strong thunderstorms expected later this afternoon. Hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll see the thunderstorm chances increasing later today, 74. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow with a high 73. Sunday, sunny skies, high 71. Richard Duettig at the Weather Channel.
.117 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, one of Erin's favorite song stylistics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever told you this story. My father and I never really had a birds and bees talk.
You didn't?
Well, we kind of did and kind of didn't. He just assumed I knew stuff and would make references to it.
Yeah.
And then if I needed to know anything, I would go ask my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is this. I was a sophomore, maybe a junior in high school, and there was a dance coming up. And I had a date for the dance, and I was nervous about this dance. Not because I was nervous about dancing, at least like regular, like fast dancing.
Sure. It was that up close.
But I was nervous about slow dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had never done that before.
Grabbing the girl.
And I was kind of talking to my dad about it, kind of working my way around the question, like I don't know how to slow dance. And
Yeah.
he kind of picked up on that, and he said something to me that was as brilliant a fatherly bit of advice as I had ever heard. He said to me, and I quote, "You know, a lot of times slow dancing has nothing to do with how you move your feet."
That's pretty good.
That ain't bad.
I need to do a little budget dancing for a minute, if
Go
you
ahead.
don't mind.
What you got, kid?
Because I was comparing some budget numbers that perhaps may not have been apples to apples. I'm still waiting, but I did get a response from the mayor's office in New Orleans because I'm asking about their budget, your total budget. And I got this from the office of Mayor LaToya Cantrell just a couple of minutes ago.
Already, they got back to you like in 5 minutes.
They sure did.
If only the city here got back to you in 5 minutes.
The operating budget adopted by the city council yesterday totals $701.9 million. Let me know if you need any other help with this. The total budget of New Orleans is $1.1 billion. Now, I think that includes capital improvement projects.
The $1.1 billion includes like capital improvement projects.
Right.
The seven, go ahead.
So here's my problem. My whole premise is if New Orleans spends $700 million on 400,000 people, Shreveport spends $500 million on about 200,000
They got
people.
about twice the city.
I got an interesting. That's a 40%. Only a 40% higher budget, but 100% higher population. So how are they doing it?
So the question would be, does Shreveport's $500 million budget include capital expenditures?
I'm looking and I see we have a separate capital expenditure budget. I'm looking to drill down on that because I'm been told by some city leaders that you may not be comparing apples to apples. So I'm going to work on this the rest of the day. I'm going to figure it out. But they're saying that New Orleans' total budget is $1.1 billion. But I think they may have a separate capital. I don't know. But I'm going to figure it out. Because if New Orleans is doing something better, we need to figure it out. Figure out what they're doing. Because they have 1,100 police officers to our 500. And the vast majority of both cities' budgets is on public safety.
Have you been to New Orleans lately?
I love New Orleans.
It's kind of crumbling. The homeless problem is totally out of control. Crime is a major problem. I've said forever about this. If you take somebody from New Orleans, in fact, you've said this about South Louisiana in general, but bring somebody from New Orleans up here and let them look at Shreveport's infrastructure, our roads, our highways, our numerous bridges.
They love it.
They think, what did y'all do to get all this money?
Right.
They think the infrastructure, the one that we Shreveportians so complain about, all the potholes and this and that, and to some degree with it's justifiable. But when you go to New Orleans, and I said this earlier in the show, if you drive down Magazine Street from the French Quarter, from downtown, going down Magazine toward Audubon Park, it's like driving on the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Right.
There's not a road in Shreveport that compares to that. There are roads back in the Marigny district in Bywater or Backwater, whichever. It's the one behind Marigny. French Quarter, Marigny, Bywater, or Backwater, I forget. They literally have not been repaired since Katrina.
Yeah.
And so, but the difference is, in New Orleans, they say that's character. In Shreveport, they say it's a $500 wheel repair.
Right. Got a big week coming up next week. Monday, we're going to have the 3 term-limited city council members join us in studio to talk about the future of Shreveport and another very special guest next week.
Jeff Everson and Michael Corbin and Oliver Jenkins will be joining us.
Do you know who else we think is coming in next week?
Who you got, Kid?
I hope the mayoral candidates will be here. We also have Bill Joyce coming in.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Now, I know he has a new book coming out.
Yes, he does.
In studio.
I'm hoping he'll be in studio.
In studio. Are we negotiating a day?
We're working on the day now.
That would be awesome.
It's going to be fun.
That would be awesome. Mr. Bill, do it. 749, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Rubens here, traffic update.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Hollywood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Here's your Keel Weather Channel forecast. Cloudy and rain and wind heavy at times today. It could be messy. High today near 70, right now 66 at Keel. It is 8:50. Here comes Your Money Now, brought to us by Barksdale Federal Credit Union.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
There were more than 47,000 suicides in the United States in 2017, making it the highest suicide rate in this country in more than 50 years.
And to make matters worse, our birth rate is declining, which basically means we are not making enough babies. And that means that a smaller working population in the future will struggle to produce enough income tax revenue to support our government, and our economy will stagnate.
When a nation stops valuing life, you end up with two things: fewer babies being born and more people taking their own lives too early. We as a nation have to change.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, and streaming live at keelnews.com.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Greg Adams wandered by to yell at Erin about some money stuff, but I want to talk football. Tell me about the game last night. What did you see? What was the last thing? And I'm not gloating here. I'm really not, because I'm not.
Yes, you are. To tell the truth.
No, I don't care.
Nanny, boo-boo.
No, I'm not
That's
big.
what he's saying to you, Greg.
Okay, maybe. But the point being, the last thing I said, I'm really not, and I'll explain. The last thing I said on the way out yesterday when you were in the room was, the Cowboys could win tonight.
I don't think I heard that.
The best teams, you can go back and look.
I might.
I said the Cowboys could win tonight. Even the best teams in the NFL, meaning the Saints, lay an egg at least twice a year. The best teams lose 4 or 5 games.
I don't know if I was in the studio. The last thing I remember talking about is that I didn't believe that the Cowboys are going to be able to break 10 points. That was, I think, the last thing that we talked about.
And they shattered it by 3.
Yeah, which I think I was pretty dead on with my assessment of the Cowboys. I was way wrong on my assessment of the Saints.
Yeah.
And short of, I know a lot of people were screaming about officials last night, and I'm a Lions fan. I'm Switzerland in this situation. The only thing I was cheering for last night was Ezekiel Elliott to stay out of the end zone.
Oh, because that's Matt's got him in fantasy.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was cheering for last night. Yeah. So
that was off camera, right?
Yeah, please.
But what
Put
I
that finger
saw
down.
was terrible officiating going both ways. So it
Mhm.
wasn't that it really favored one team or the other. All the calls were bad. The non-calls were worse than the calls on the field. But that was the first time, I think, that I've seen the Saints in the Drew Brees era just not have anything clicking. Usually, if the passing game isn't clicking, you can rely on the running game. The running game wasn't clicking.
49 offensive plays, they averaged between around 60 to 65.
It was amazing to see. It was like there was a different team that came out on the field, and I think there was a point where they realized it. And actually what was amazing, and I said this on social media last night, coming out of halftime, I truly believed that the game was going to be won by the coaches at that point, which would favor the Saints, and that first Saints drive really looked like it was going to be that way, and then things just, the wheels fell apart again.
We'll go back, pull up the video. Even the best teams lay an egg twice a year. Saints fans, fret not. 8:57, back Monday morning, 6 till 9. Robert and Erin. Here's Kim Commando.
Virtual assistants like Alexa, Siri, and Google are always listening, usually in the kitchen. So naturally, they know if your relationship is on the rocks. Kim Commando with your Friday Consumer Tech Update. Get extended interviews and tech news with the Commando Podcast, available on Apple and Google Podcast. Imagine you're having an argument with your significant other. Your voice is raised. Then suddenly, your smart speaker chimes in and says, "Hey, take a 5-minute break and remember you love each other." Sound crazy? In a few years, artificial intelligence and smart speakers will do just this within 75% accuracy. And by the year 2025, AI combined with activity and data tracking will match people with his or her perfect partner. I don't know if I buy this. Hey Siri, have you ever been in love?
Not as such, but I did have strong feelings for a cloud-based app once.
We've got a long way to go. I'm Kim Commando. When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. You need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Dell's Cyber Week sale for small business is on. Save big with massive deals on office essentials like computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors and the latest servers. Even other top brand electronics and accessories are on sale. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Quantities are limited. Dell's small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business needs at Cyber Week prices. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/SB Cyber Week. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on I-20 eastbound near Hearn Avenue. And we're still looking at some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
1017 FM, 710 Keel Weather Channel forecast. Kind of ugly today. Cloudy, rain, windy, rain heavy at times, by the way. High today, low 70s. Nicer for the weekend, at least on Sunday. 66 at Keel. It's 9 o'clock, and it's time for Fox
Breaking
News.
news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.